This conference will now be recorded. This
Predominantly,
conference will now be recorded.
Predominantly, I come from SAP retail background, and then I
Okay.
have knowledge. I've also worked on OTC as well as MM. I want to learn TM, and I'm very new to TM. I do not have any basics as well.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Meanwhile, you can start, Virendra.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Myself is Virendra, and I'm into the SAP space since the last more than 15 years. And I will be mainly responsible for organizing the transportation management training here. Okay, so it's good. Like all of you are at least from SAP background, so it will make my life more easy. And in case any question is there, please interrupt me so that I can understand what's your requirement, and accordingly we can take it up. So first of all, I just wanted to give not directly taking you into the system because taking you into a system will actually start from tomorrow. But it's very important to know actually the module what you are what you will learn is what does that module do? Any idea what does a transportation management generally does in today's any type of industry?
What we know in as they said, shipping the good from one place to another place. That's what up to we know. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there are mainly two types of scenarios. One is shipper scenario and one is the logist 3PL scenarios.
Yes.
According to me, it will help the logistic company set up the shipment part and also enable the tracking facility when the goods are transported from in the order to cash cycle as well as the procurement side.
Yes. Correct. So more or less, all of you have some good idea. So basically, transportation in a very pure word, if I go with the basic terminology, not using the SAP terminology, is or when you need to transport something. Transport means when you want to move one product from one location to another location. Okay, so that is simply called transportation. When I say location means, that means, for example, if you are planning to move your product, for example, if you are shifting your house from Bangalore to Chennai, so in that case, you know what you need? You need to call a trucker or rather a carrier, or like for example FedEx or UPS or some other company who will come to your house. They will generally come and pick up the goods from Bangalore location. Bangalore is a pickup point, which is nothing but it's a source location, and then they will load it into the truck, and the truck will carry all the products or items from your source point, and it will come to your destination location, which is your final destination point, which is at Chennai. So transportation means it's the movement of your product from one location to another location, and as a transporter you need to worry about two things, or rather three things: what to transport, how to transport, and when to transport. So what to transport means your household articles. That means what are the products, what are the cargo items you want to transport. Okay. When to transport? When means you call up the trucker, you tell them, okay, come to the pickup point on Sunday and make sure that my goods reach by 20th of February. So that means you have a fixed delivery date which you have provided to the carrier so that the transportation can be done. So that means when to transport, you know, the pickup point you know, and the delivery point you know. And how to transport? How to transport means, for example, if you have got around 500 tons of products, you need to call up a trucker and you need to tell them, okay, please send a truck which can transport minimum 500 tons, because if he comes and picks up the goods with 100-ton capacity, it will not help you, right? You need a full load truck which can transport your product from your pickup point to destination. So if you are clear about these three questions, what, when, and how, the transportation process becomes more easy to do. Now, before we were into SAP transportation management, SAP had a module. I don't know whether you have worked on it, called as the LE Logistics Execution Module. If has anyone worked on that LE Logistics Execution Module?
No.
Okay.
No.
So, yeah. So logistics execution module is nothing but when you are triggering any type of delivery, whether it's SD or MM, you need to create a shipment document, right? I don't know whether you have heard about this transaction code BT01N, BI01. That
Yes,
means,
yes, yes.
yeah, so that is what we call as the logistics execution module. So this module was earlier actually taking into account all the shipment part. Okay, that means once a delivery is created, the deliveries used to be clubbed to create a shipment, and then the shipment was processed in ECC, and based on that, the shipment cost was also done in ECC. That was the standard process. Okay, but now with the advent of transportation management, things have changed a lot. Lot means the concept is still the same. That means you need an order, you do a delivery. Based on a delivery, you create a shipment document, and based on a shipment document, you create a shipment cost document. But the method of processing this process has become more simplified when you are into SAP transportation management. The reason is, if you just think in a normal way, suppose you are a planner, you need to make sure that my goods reach in Chennai on 20th of Feb. So for that, you need to make sure that my proper truck resource is available, my carrier is available, my required mode of transport should be okay, and the most important part is that my logistics cost should be minimized, right? So that I can gain some profit on this particular operation, and accordingly my execution is a good successful, right? So in today's any type of industry, logistical cost is a very predominant cost factor. Previously, it was not taken so much significance because mainly it was a domestic transfer. But nowadays, considering every companies are on a global nature, where they are doing a shipment from one country to another country, that means both domestic as well as international. It is very important that we should have something in the system which will integrate your planning with the execution. Right? Planning means, like as a planner, I need to identify which are my carrier, which is the resource, by when I need to deliver. That is planning. And execution means the actual physical transportation. So there needs to be a very close integration between this planning, execution, and the costing. So there were some deficiency in the earlier product what we used to use because planning was never done completely, and execution and cost was also in a little bit in a silos. But now using SAP transportation management, we have the planning, the execution piece, and the costing piece all under one platform. So the integration is simplified, master data maintenance is reduced, and companies or the planner can really have an overall view of how much I am actually spending for my transportation process. So for that, SAP TM is your future roadmap for any type of logistics and transportation process. Any question?
Hi Virendra, I have one question.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is like, how different is SAP TM from SAP SD? We have the basic knowledge of SAP SD. I mean, we in the sense, I'm talking about myself. I have the basic knowledge of SAP SD, and considering that with running with this basic knowledge, how soon? I mean, it's not how soon. How the TM would be able to help me out in terms of the career growth and career path and
Yes.
yeah,
See,
I
all
just
the
want to.
batches, yeah, all the batches, what we do basically, most of the students or rather most of the consultants are mainly who doesn't know TM. The only
Okay.
expectation I said for them, at least tell me if you know how to create one sensor or a delivery. That's what I require. Okay,
Yeah,
that is first. Whether
yeah,
you are
that's
from SD or background, yeah. whether you are from SD or MM background, only thing I want that you create VS01 and you create VL01. That's it. Okay. The reason
Yeah.
is, if you see, can you see my screen?
Yeah. I see
Yes.
the figure of order management to fleet planning. So that's a screen.
Yes, correct. So I come to your question in a different way. So in TM we have 4 pillars. If you see, one is the order management, second is the freight planning, third is the execution, and fourth is the settlement. In the order management is mostly what we do in ECC. Okay, that means we need to see how TM will know that they need to integrate something from ECC, right? So there are 2 variants. One is the shipper scenario. Shipper means I need an ECC system in place to trigger my requirement. That means I need to tell to the TM system, okay, this is my order, this is my delivery. Now please plan the transport from this location to this location. Okay, that means either from order, sales order, purchase order, stock transport order, subcontracting order, anything, or from delivery. That means either from outbound delivery, inbound delivery. So based on these 2 different document types, my requirement has to be generated in TM. So that's why this entire order management part is mainly in the ECC. So here you just need to create a sales order or delivery. Delivery can be created either manually from in ECC or it can be done from TM as well. But I only require the creation of a sales order in that case. And I think creation of sales order or purchase order is known to everyone. Correct? Okay. So that is the first part to the question. The second part, coming from the career perspective, the thing is that we don't have any other option as a consultant. I tell you the roadmap. The reason is, I think you must have known that by 2020, SAP is planning to completely stop all the developments in the logistics area, and rather in the ALE area. So what does that mean? It means that all the clients, all the customers, all the consultants have to move into the transportation management mode, because right now TM is the future roadmap for all the logistics execution solution. Okay. And second part, because we will be now you know that all are in the S4 migration phase, right? Because they have to migrate the HANA database. And because TM is embedded now, that means it is a central one system. Within one system, you can access TM and ECC. So, you know, in terms of our cost, in terms of licensing, it has become much more simplified. So all the clients are planning to move to the migration phase to S4HANA. So the more earlier you are into this module, you know, the less saturated, obviously the more demand you can generate in the market, because right now the demand and supply is huge. Because you can understand there are so many clients and customers, SAP, they're using SAP, right? If they're going to upgrade that particular to S4HANA, and referring to S4HANA, you need to use TM to track your logistics solution. So obviously, you know, if you give yourself some time from 6 months to 1 year to have a complete grasping of this TM solution, which is not very complex, it is very much simplified. Only thing is that you need to spend some time to know the integrity. That's it. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, yes, Virendra. Yep.
Yeah. So I have one question. So what are the use case for TM in procurement side? We talk about integration with OTC. That's fine. But what will be a use case for in procurement?
See, as I told you, there are 2 variants of TM. One is for a shipper scenario and one is for your LSP scenario. Okay. If we are talking about LSP means a freight forwarder industry, like UPS, like DHL, like like FedEx, where they do where their main process is transportation. Okay, that means
Correct.
for that they don't need to have ECC to trigger the requirement. They can directly do it from TM. That is for an LSP. But if as a shipper, what is a shipper? Shipper means I am responsible for owning the product. That means I do the manufacturing, I do the procurement, I do the selling, I do the warehousing, everything. That means for me, I need some ECC system in place, as I told you, where my order and delivery will be generated.
Correct.
Now, there are two pillars to that. One is outbound scenario, one is inbound. When I say outbound, OTC is taking care, but inbound is what? Basically, it is the movement of the product from the vendor's location to your receiving plant, right?
Okay.
Now, the reason why you require TM in for inbound process, I will not say it's used for all scenarios. Many clients may say, okay, I don't want to implement TM for inbound, only for outbound I want. The reason is it is from vendor location. Why should I want? You need to worry. The reason is when the vendor location is dispatching the product, based on the dispatching, you maybe your plan need to do that product, because based on that, once the stock is up, you can do the selling, right? It's like your
Right.
make to order, right? Okay. So unless make to stock is there, obviously make to order will not be fulfilled, right? So
Absolutely. Yeah.
those shipper who wants to monitor their particular process in that way, they also want to monitor the transport which is originating from vendor till the receiving plant is reached. Because another reason is, just to imagine, if your vendor is planning to send the product tomorrow is Sunday, okay, and if your plant is closed on Sunday, what will happen? Vendor is going to charge you the high cost, correct? Because they have to keep the product side by side till your factory opens on Monday, correct? That means it is eating up your logistical cost as well. So you need to do a planning in that way. You need to know when the vendor is dispatching the goods and when you should receive the goods in your plan. So that planning part should be there for the supply chain planners. So that's the reason why you integrate TM with inbound process.
Okay, perfect. Answers my question. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, Virendra, I have one question on top of it. Sorry for that.
Yes.
Yeah. So when we are saying it's vendor goods, like when we creating the purchase order, that includes freight cost and everything, right? So in this scenario, like, would there be a different configurations that the shipper, I mean, the company would be doing the actual transportation?
Yeah. See, the reason is whatever cost you see in your purchase order, that is a procurement cost. Okay. But this cost, what you are doing is a transportation cost, which is maybe you have your own haulier, right? You have your own carrier, you have your own fleet, or you may take a subcontract from an external fleet to do the transportation. So the procurement part is the procurement cost is completely different to that of this cost. Okay, and you have to do a separate set of configuration for that. But just give me 2 minutes. I just show you. Maybe if I can explain you these 4 pillars, you can understand what I mean to say. So,
okay, sure.
If you see here, order management, mainly this is for a shipper scenario. So this is my shipper, and I create a purchase order, sales order, or outbound delivery, inbound delivery. I hand over the requirement from ECC to TM. Okay, because in that case, my source location is my shipping point, and my destination location is my ship to party. So TM knows, okay, my source location is always my shipping point. Then they see, okay, in the sales order, purchase order, I have the requested delivery date, right? That means I need to complete the handover of the goods to the ship to party by this date. And also I know at an item level that these are the goods I am sending or specifying in my sales order or purchase order. So that means my TM knows all the information from ECC, what to transport, how to transport, when to transport. So if you are integrating your ECC to your TM for a specific delivery type, for a specific shipping point, for a specific shipping condition, I get a first object in TM called as a freight unit. So my freight unit is the smallest unit in transportation, okay, which gets created once my sales order or delivery gets integrated with TM. Okay, so the order management aims at the creation of a freight unit. So freight unit is nothing but it's a cargo item or it's a product item. That is what you are going to transport. That is what the requirement document consists of. Okay. Once my order management is done, the next part is my planning. Now, once my freight unit is there, as a planner, I know, okay, I need to make the freight unit available in Chennai by 20th of February. So now I start to look which is the resource which should be available to make this transportation possible, right? Because transportation means you need to have certain resource. So resource means it can be a ship, it can be a flight, it can be a truck, It can be a rail car, it can be a parcel, anything, correct? You need some resource, you need some means to transport the product from one location to another location. So as a planner, I need to understand what is the cheapest mode of transport I should use. How should I make the goods available in Chennai by 20th? And also I should know what is the minimum way by which I can transport so that my logistical cost is at the minimum. So he has to do a planning. So the planning is done in TM called as in a tool called as a planning cockpit. So planning cockpit is the tool where you perform planning. Now technically planning means what? Input to your planning is your freight unit. Input to your planning is your resource. That means the truck. And after planning, the output of your planning is a freight order or freight booking, which is nothing but it's a shipment document. Because that is the real execution document. So since all of you are from ECC, you must know delivery is actually not the execution document, it's more of a planning document. Execution document is a shipment document, right? That is the document which the carrier carries on hand in order to start the shipping from one point to another. So the objective of planning here is to create a freight order or freight booking. Freight order means if the means of transport is road, like a road, rail, where the mode of transport is using the road. A freight booking means if you are transporting using air or sea, it is called freight booking. Any question for the first two pillar?
That's fine, Virendra.
Okay.
From my end.
Another process here, what happens is the carrier selection. You should know which business party should come and do the execution, right? Who will do the transport, whether it's ABC, whether it's XYZ. So for that, you can use various methods to do a carrier selection based on cost, based on priority, or for example, if you are doing a shipment in a particular lane, and in that lane only one carrier is available, then automatically that carrier is responsible for doing the actual execution. So once the planning is done, the third is the execution. So execution means the freight order or freight booking, you need to now monitor whether the loading has happened, unloading has happened, departure has been done from the peak source location, whether it has arrived, proof of delivery is there. So these are different milestones of a shipment which you need to monitor. Because if I say that your truck has left from Bangalore, so you need to monitor a milestone, okay, departure from Bangalore, loading has completed in Bangalore, unloading has happened in Chennai, now arrival at Chennai. So these are different milestones of a shipment. So the different milestones is monitored and tracked using this third figure. For that, if you are not on S4HANA, we used to use event management as a module. In S4HANA, because SAP EM is not embedded, so as of now, we can do it manually within TMS. Or there is another cloud solution, which is called as a GTT, through which you can actually do an execution part, monitoring into that. Another thing, what happens in this process is once my shipment has reached the destination location, you need to pay to the carrier. So we perform also a charge calculation in the freight order itself. That means you can calculate the shipment cost, and based on that, you can know how much I need to pay to the carrier for carrying the entire shipment process. And lastly, once you have done these three processes, so your order is done, planning is done, execution is done. That means it has reached and delivered the product to the consignee. Consignee means the customer. Now you need to pay to the carrier. So for payment to the carrier, we create a draft invoice called as a settlement. So the settlement is triggered from a freight order. The settlement contains all the charges which is there in your freight order. But why settlement is created? Because the settlement document needs to be posted to create your service PO and service entry sheet followed by MIDO. Because in standard ECC, bookkeeping principle, it's a three-way match, right? You need to create a service purchase order, service entry sheet, because transportation is not is like a service, right? So a service PO and a service entry sheet will be created automatically from a flex settlement, and then you pay to the carrier following MIRO, and then you close the intersection. So this is how the entire process flow is used. Any question?
So as of now, this is completely an separate separate on the server. We need to practice it. There's no S4HANA cloud or something.
So
Then we can.
are you
No,
going
no,
to
no.
show this?
We'll do it in S4HANA. All is done in S4HANA in a single system.
Single,
which
so
uses
which
embedded
environment?
T-num, right?
So which environment we are going to show is 1809 or 1909 latest version?
See, there is not much difference in 1809 or 1909. Okay. So currently all my batches we are doing in 1809. I can also do it in 1909. That's not a problem. Because
If you
technically
show
it's always
1909, that would be better. No, again, if we go for any certification, again we have to do 1809 only. If you show me a 1909, we'll go for certification 1909. That will be helpful.
there's no TM certification like that. TM certification is 9.5.
And what is that?
Okay. So basically, you know, the embedded part, like the TM embedded in S4HANA started from 1709. Okay. But 1709 calls up TM 9.5 in the backend. So as you know, if you are in a standalone, so this is the standalone scenario. In standalone, we used to have objects like OTR and BTR, which is not there now in S4HANA because it is more simplified. Okay, so the latest standalone release is TM 9.5, and just few days back 9.6 has been. So so whatever certification you do for TM, it will be either TM 9.3 or 9.5. You don't have any S4 HANA TM 1809 or 1909 certification.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
Because the thing is that the concept should be clear to you. And I feel you know, rather than certification, if you try to give, you know, learn more about the topic, it will be helpful because ultimately the projects that will come. Okay. So try to get more information about the like this S4 HANA, how the TM part works, because I will be deep diving into the architecture as well. What type of architecture SAP TM follows, and what are the different differences what we used to have when you are in standalone and all. So there are a lot of changes what SAP has done, you know, from standalone to your S4 HANA. So if you see, this is the standalone scenario where we used to create a sales order. From order, we used to create a new document called as an order page requirement. Then the freight unit is to be created. You perform your planning. Once the planning is performed, the shipment document, which is nothing but freight order, got created. Then based on the planning in TM, my delivery got created, and this delivery again is to create another document called as the requirement document, delivery base. And then
we are going to see this in system, right? The whole we are going to see this in the system, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
The whole cycle.
Yes, yes.
Both, right? From the sales side as well as from the purchase side. I mean, the outbound
as of now, yeah, as of now, we plan for the sales side. If you want to see from the purchase side also, we can show from the purchase. It's the same because TM also, yeah.
So
but
will
now
you cover
if you
this?
Yeah.
Will you cover weighbridge process also?
What process?
Weighbridge, a truck comes in and truck go out. Weighbridge.
Yeah, but you know, like Weighbridge is a custom solution, right? It's not directly inbuilt. You need some sensors, you need some GPS which will track the movement and all. Okay, and also interfaces and all are required. So that is not there, but we'll cover this standard. What is there? It's all these 4 pillars.
Okay.
And we'll also you know, see, I also hold one technical class in the last day, where I'll tell you that, in case you're from technical background, like how to write biceps for TM, like what are the database tables, what are the baddies and, helper classes which you can use technically, how to write those things. That is also required. Those things also I cover. And also, although EM is not embedded here, but I will show you what are the configurations that is required to integrate with the event management solution. And this is the standard setup for S/4HANA. So whether it has, if you compare previously, the process was this too complicated, and this is the monitoring part for EM. But now in S/4HANA, it has become more simplified. Whether you create outbound or inbound, you create a delivery, and then you create freight unit, charge management, settlement, and create a KPI. That's it. Okay. So with S/4HANA, basically, there are a lot of improvements in terms of previously used to do shipping to transfer the master data from ECC to TM. That is not required. We used to use PI. PI is a middleware service where whenever any type of sales order or delivery was created in ECC through the PI service, the OTR and BTR. So if you see this part, there is also a middleware service here, PI. Now it is not required. Now with the S/4HANA part, that part is also simplified. Okay. So any more questions? Did you have a chance to look at the content? Anyone?
No, can you walk through us quickly?
I don't have the content with me directly, but I'll tell you what we'll cover. So I will basically start
Yeah, that will be fine.
Yeah, I will basically start on with the industry. So basically, as I told you, there are two types of industry we mainly cater to. One is the shipper and one is the LSP, or freight forwarder industry. Then I will cover like how TM fits into these two industry variants. Then I will directly come into the architecture part, because, for example, you are all experienced, so you know that architecture is very important. Like how, where, and how you place TM in any type of logistics scenario. Okay, and what are the different components of your TM architecture? So that part I will cover. Then we'll start with the organizational structure. So as I'll just show you one thing here. So basically, yeah. So there I'll start with the organizational structure. In the organizational structure, we'll see what are the different organizational units we will require for TM. And then I will explain you the scenario what we are going to implement. So we are actually going to implement a multimodal scenario where if you are moving from one location to another location. So you see, this is the scenario we'll cover. So if in case your shipper is at Cologne and you need to move it to Chicago, what are the different transportation process, components, configuration, individual perspective, everything I'll be covering. Starting from organizational data, different types of master data, different types of transaction data, then you go into SPRO, how you're going to configure the different types of resources, and so at every level of the 4 pillars I will explain you in order to cover end-to-end process. Similarly, this process will also be followed for LSP also. So both for shipper and LSP, we will do that. Because the only difference between LSP and shipper is in the order management. Rest all other processes are almost the same. Okay, so in every class, if you see,
What is
LSP? Yeah, logistics service provider. That means they are responsible for picking up the goods from your house. So, for example, if you call FedEx, so the FedEx will create a forwarding order in the system, and they will say, okay, my pickup point is Bangalore, destination is Chennai. So they will do all the documentation, custom clearance, then export documentation, compliance, then execution, resource carrier selection, all will be done by them. So that's why we don't need ECC for them. We can directly do all in TM. So that's where the segregation comes in between a LSP and a shipper.
Okay.
So once we do this, then we come into order management. then we'll do the planning, then we'll do the execution monitoring. I'll show you the entire charge calculation framework. Charge calculation is completely different in TM as compared to ECC. And then we'll also go through some basics of your event management part, how you do the monitoring of events and all. And finally, we'll do the settlement, where how you can do the integration with ECC for the charging. And finally, I will do the technical part as well, so that you can have an overall view of architecture, technical, as well as the different components. And we try to complete it within 24 to 26 weeks hours. That means roughly around 1.5 months to be our target. Maybe it can be extended to 2 months also, based on your availability and like how much you can absorb. And yeah, so we'll also give you the the required study material, and you'll also get to see the different types of files because all the sessions will be recorded, and system access you'll have even after the class gets completed. So we'll cover it every class. Whatever we'll be setting up in the system, we'll maintain in an Excel, the data structure, so that we can have a look and use it for your reference. Okay.
Okay.
So any other question?
And we do these things only during weekends, right? These classes will be taken up only during weekends.
See, actually, I'm flexible in both. You just need to provide your convenient timing to Naveen, and Naveen will adjust the timings. If you want in weekends, we can do it in weekends. No problem. All of you from India?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, just convey your timing, and Naveen will just put you into a batch, and we can start maybe from tomorrow also. We can start.
Okay, so the amount of time which you said, like it's would be done within 26 classes or so. Or, if it's done on a daily basis, then it would be done as 26 classes, or
No, not 26. 26. Yeah, it's around 24 to 26 hours. So roughly you count around 5 to 6 hours per week.
okay.
Okay. See, this is based on the experience I have. Like this is, I think this is the 20th or 21st batch we have been doing. So roughly we cover it around 1.5 months. That's what I've seen more or less. Obviously, if holidays and all of that, that's not a problem. We can take into account. We can extend the time. That's not a problem.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I will try to bring because I'm also to this for pretty long time now. I'll try to bring my more personal experience, what I feel, what I have encountered in different types of projects, also for troubleshooting and all that part also I cover. Rather than learning, you can also get a good experience about how to implement TM, because learning that's always there, obviously, but there are always some important things to consider when you're implementing TM. So those things I will share with you so that you can have a good idea of that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so that is what I had to cover today. So just have a word with Naveen, and then if you are okay, we can start from tomorrow also. Okay.
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 Okay. Okay then.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Virendra. See you tomorrow.
Okay. See you tomorrow. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.